Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Sudhir, for an insightful presentation on the rooftop policy. I think this is something we are at a position where I think we are on the way to take off on the rooftop in a big way. And the kind of policies which are there right now are not very, on the positive side. But the way things are happening at the back end, with the central policy coming up last year on the rooftop, and other states are also, firming up and strengthening their policies. So we see, a good traction coming up in this year onwards. And I think in the last 4 months, we've already seen almost 400 megawatt of rooftop installed in this financial year, which is reasonably good considering what actually has happened in last couple of years. So my name is Vikas Arya. I represent Jakson Group. We are one of the leading EPC and manufacturing company into solar. In fact, we are into power solutions. We are a 75-year-old group into power solutions, starting from providing DG sets for the customers during those days when there was a power shortage. So we are OEM partner with Cummins since 1982, and we entered into the solar renewable sector in 2010. So we are almost, the first plant we installed in Rajasthan, that was in 2012 under the Jwala Nehru mission, around 20 megawatt. That plant has completed now 10 years. So it was commissioned in March 2012. So after that, now today we have a portfolio of around 200 megawatt in the IPP. And plus we also into, we do EPC projects for the ground-based projects. We have around 1.5 gigawatt of portfolio on the ground-based. Plus we also do rooftop EPC. And then we are into manufacturing of solar modules. So I think the rooftop policy has been taken care by Sudhir. So what I will be more focusing on, on the technology side, on the module specifically. So we have seen a big change happening in the modules in last 2 years. And we see that this change is going to continue in next 3 years as well. So how these things have changed, how the, the different government installations has happened, update on the, power scenario in India. So how the power demands has increased in over the last 10 years, and how the renewable sector is a solution to the climate change and also meeting our, power requirements going forward. This is, the power demand, if you say, for last 10 years. It's, from 2012 to 2022. So this data is from CEA, from the website of Central Electricity Authority. So this particular, today we have total installed base is 403 gigawatt. That is the total installed base for power generation. And out of this, if you see, renewable is around 160 gigawatt. Around 40% is renewable, as on May 2022. And this is the last 10 years, demand and generation. The actual demand year on year and the actual generation units that were available for the users. So it has actually, if you see, the demand has increased from 995 billion units in 2012 to 1380 billion units till this year. Now, what does this mean? This last 10 years, we have seen the demand has increased by almost 38.6%. With the peak demand has increased by 50%. Peak demand means the maximum demand at any given instant of time. So it has increased by 50% in last 10 years, from 135 gigawatt to 203 gigawatt. And power generation increased by 51.2% from 908 to 1374 billion units. So all these three things we have seen increase. Increase in demand, increase in power availability, and increase in power generation and peak demand. Power deficit. I think we all know the power cuts, during our younger days we have seen power cuts. But today in the metro cities we hardly see any power cuts. Even in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, if you talk about UP or Bihar, the power cuts, earlier used to be 12 hours. Now it has reduced to 2 hours, 3 hours, except few locations where might be, higher power cuts are there. But power cuts have reduced considerably. I think we all agree to that. So one of the reason is the power deficit, which was around 8.3%. It has reduced by 8.3%, which was 8.7% 10 years back, is now only 0.42%. Less than 1% is the deficit between demand and supply. So this has helped in, making a power availability continuously. Now with this power availability continuously comes the, success of grid-tied rooftop system. So as I think most of you must be knowing, when we install a rooftop system, a grid has to be available. And that is the most economical and useful system in providing power. So with this availability of power, with 2016 policy of rooftop coming in, we have seen a huge surge in the installation of rooftop installations in the country. But as we talk about increase in manufacturing capacities and the load, I think everybody will agree at our house also, if we talk about the load which we were consuming maybe 5 years back and the load that we are consuming now, it has increased considerably. Now add to the number of households, add to the industries, add to the manufacturing capacities. So this demand is definitely going to increase manifold in the coming 10 years. Now, to meet this increase in demand without increase in the CO2 gas emission, so that is a challenge. Getting more generation is not a challenge. We can always have resources to get more power output. But at the same time, with it happening, getting this power without pollution and without getting the greenhouse gas emissions is a challenge. So that is where the renewable energy comes into picture. Now this is the installed capacity. If we talk about top 17 states in India in the renewable sector, which are having the current installation. So starting from today, if we talk about rooftop, there are around 15 states which are having more than 500 megawatt of installations in the solar. Now the first state is Rajasthan. Rajasthan is around 14.4 gigawatt, followed by Gujarat 7.8, Tamil Nadu we have 5.6, Karnataka 7.5, so and so forth. So now one observation from this slide is, if you can see that solar, it is installed right from the South India to Western India to East India to North India. So means that is we are very lucky. We are in a country where sun is available across all the states. So we have installations across all parts of the country. So that makes a very strong proposal to have the decentralization of power generation, which means I am able to generate power near to the load, because I am able to generate power at any part of the country. Now, as on 31st of July, as per MNRE report, so these are the actual generations what we have. We have around 48 gigawatt of rooftop installation, 48 gigawatt of ground-based, 7 gigawatt of rooftop, and off-grid and hybrid is around 3 gigawatt. So we have around 58 gigawatt of solar installation completed, up running as on 31st of July. Out of which 4 gigawatt is added in this year only, between April and July. So that is again a reasonably good pace. I think last 6 months we have seen a lot of installations and installation happening in the country. We have done almost 8 to 9 gigawatt has been added in this calendar year. Now this is a typical rooftop plant which we installed at a location in Pune. It was installed in October 20. It's a 400 kilowatt system where we have installed a monopark. Those days, the modules were available. The monopark module just came out in the country, the monopark technology. The 380 watt peak was the highest rating available at that point of time. So that was the module used for this particular plant. It is installed on an industrial shed where, the contract demand of the customer was 650 kVA. So as per the Maharashtra regulation, they want to have up to 80%. So we decided to go with 400 kilowatt of plant. Now in this particular one plant, where we have the carbon annual CO2 gas emission saving is more than 525 million metric ton, and in the energy bill the customer is able to save around 50 lakhs per year. That is a saving in the electricity tariff bill. Now this is the month on generation for 1 year, starting from March 21 to February 22. So this is, you can see it's the constant generation. You talk about it is almost 42,000 units per month is the output that this plant has been able to give consistently. So it has helped in reduction of the demand by 31% from the grid. And this particular plant is being installed by, designed by Jakson, and operation maintenance is done by Jakson team only. So we are doing O&M of this plant. And this was the first plant we installed with this customer, and after that we have almost installed at all their manufacturing locations in India. So starting from this 400 kilowatt, today we have a portfolio of 3 gigawatt with this one customer only. Now the key for this, running this solar plant, when we talk about solar plant, right from, the design and engineering is very, very important. So whether you are able to install the system properly at the proper location with the proper facing towards the sun, at the right inclination, and then at the same time you are using best of the products available. Right installation is being done with proper protections so that there is no line losses. The sizes of the cables and the protections are in place. All those things are done fine, plant is running fine, but you don't do a proper O&M. So then again, you don't get the desired results. So all the three things are important, right from the right engineering, the right installation, followed by the right operation and maintenance best practices. So these three things, if you are able to take care, it's a trouble-free installation, it's a static installation of solar, very useful, very eco-friendly, and you can have a very result, getting it 25 years is not a big task. So we always, tell our customers, choose the right vendors, do the right due diligence, and then have the right partners with you who are there to provide you service for the long term. Now, as we all know, when we talk about solar, it is going to save you money. You are able to reduce your electricity bill, you get faster ROI. For the industrial customer, you have got accelerated depreciation benefit available from the government. And long term, you can do the, for your next business expansions, you can save money. But over and above, you also contribute to the climate change. So you do your contribution in your obligation meeting your renewable commitment. So this is the basic parts, and without getting any additional land requirement when you do it on a rooftop. We all talk about net zero, the COP26 that happened in Paris, where there is a commitment of net zero by the Prime Minister of India, 2070. Now, for reaching that goal, there are a few initiatives or a few directions which has been set up, and those directions are: we have to increase our presence, dependence on the non-fossil fuels like renewable. That has to increase. We have to have 500 gigawatt by 2030 total renewable mix. What PM has been given the direction. Then reduction in the carbon emission by 1 billion tons, and then shift from fossil fuels to electric vehicles. With EV policy coming in, I think we'll see a major shift where we have the reduction in the demand for diesel and petrol in the coming years. So electrical vehicle is going to make a big change as far as the pollution and CO2 gas emission is concerned. And then use of green hydrogen, the new energy we are talking about. So these are the few initiatives which are there. And now to meet this, the solar requirement comes to approximately 5,630 gigawatt by 2070, if we have to meet that. So today we are at 58 gigawatt. We are looking at 5,670 gigawatt of renewable in India by 2070 if you have to be net zero. So means we are talking about 1,000 times the current installation. So that is the potential, or that is the vision we are going towards. So means solar makes a very, very important energy mix in our future energy requirements. Renewable energy sources, solar and wind, don't cause any CO2 gas emission. So they are all both clean fuels and clean source of power. Now I will just touch upon on the new technologies which has happened, especially on the module side. Shift has happened from poly to monopark. I think those who have already done the installation a couple of years back and are in touch now. So monopark is gradually taking over the poly very, very rapidly. The solar modules using half-cut technology, it came, in India last year. And today we are talking about in 2022, we see a major shift happening. Most of the big manufacturers have already shifted towards this half-cut module technology. Then the bifacial modules is again, being catching up very fast now. And then the higher rating of modules. The module ratings, when we used to talk about 5 years back, 250, 300 watt peak. Today we are talking about 600 watt peak rating of the modules. So these are the major shifts that has happened. Just touching on the cell efficiency technologies in last 5 years. When we started with poly, the efficiency of the cell in 2018 was, between 18.2% to 21.6% between poly and mono. Now today, if we talk about the poly efficiency has reached around 19.1. Now that is the highest efficiency. So all poly technology cannot go beyond this. So that is where monopark came into picture. So monopark efficiency started from 20. Today we have the monopark efficiency almost 23%, very easily available, whatever cells we are getting. And it has the potential to go up to 25% monopark. So that is the reason globally the market is shifting towards monopark. Means we are able to get more power output in the same area. So efficiency will help us in getting more generation from the same area of your rooftop. And then going forward, we see the N type of monopark by which we expect to, globally should be available at the end of this year commercially. And in India, we are expecting it to have availability from next year onwards. So which will give you further increase in the efficiency. So the module rating have increased today from 300 watt peak to 600 watt peak. And the cell size increased from 156 mm size 5 years back to around 182, 210. These are the two, largest manufacturing cells available today globally. So 182 and 210 mm size. The cell technology development, when we were talking about the poly busbar cells, poly cells, they were earlier available in 3 busbar, then came 4 busbar, then 5 busbar was the highest which was available. Then came monopark in the size in 2018 in the size of 158.75. They were also in 5 busbar. Then 166 mm cells came in 2020. They were with almost 9 busbar. And last year we had these two big giants coming up, 182 mm, 210 mm. So 182 mm in 10 busbar and 210 mm in 12 busbar. So the number of busbars have increased over the period of time. So we call them multi-busbar now. They are all known as multi-busbar cells. And 2022 we see is the year of shift from poly to monopark and half-cut cells. So this is a change we are going to see in the Indian market, above 500 watt peak modules. Now what is the benefit of going with the multi-busbar? So multi-busbar means you are able to have on the same cell area, you are having number of busbars. So means your current is getting divided. Between each busbar is now having 1/10 of the current against 1/5 of the current in a 5 busbar cell. So means you are able to have a better flow of the current inside the cell. then and you get a better, generation. The efficiency of the cell increases. So you give better, higher output per cell with the multi-bus bar, and also it helps in reducing the CTM, cell to module losses. So that is also reduced. So that helps in getting a better output from the module. The half-cut cells. Why this half-cut cell is taking a, predominant now? So the basic reason is we all know I square R losses. I square R is higher is the current, higher are the I square R losses. So when I'm making a half-cut cell, so I'm reducing the current by half. So today, if you talk about 182 mm cell, the cell is having a current rating of 13 ampere each cell. So when we do a half-cut, means each half cell is having now 6.5 ampere current. So I'm able to reduce that current. The moment I'm able to reduce the current, so my I square R losses in that module is reducing and able to get a better generation. So that is why the shift towards half-cut cells has been done with the higher rating of cells. Now coming to bifacial, bifacial is a module which is having the option of generating from the backside of the module as well. When we say backside means it is going to have utilize the reflected light from the rear part of the module and gives you that extra power gain. Now for doing that, there are a few factors which have to be taken into consideration. You have albedo, we talked it, the reflection surface that is available, how much reflection you can get. Then you have the height, at what height the modules are. If you just put it on the industrial shed, you don't have any space for the reflection, so you will not get any benefit. There has to be some optimum height which has to be designed. The inclination angle at which you are going to install the modules, the spacing between the modules which has to be kept in line so that you have the sufficient space available for getting the reflections. So all those things are taken into consideration. Then you can have the gain right from 5% to 20% is the additional gain you can get using a bifacial module technology. Now coming to this, half-cut cells, Jakson, we are proud to say, we are the first Indian company to announce this 600 watt peak module last year when we launched this product. And we are the first Indian company who got the BIS certification up to 600 watt peak. And we are the first Indian company who is now ALMM approved up to 600 watt peak using M10 size cells. So this is the, one of the first which we have. We call it Helia range of series. Now this series is, manufactured using at our latest fully automatic line at Greater Noida, wherein, we have modules right from 440 watt peak to 600 watt peak. The only difference is number of cells. With the number of cells, I am able to change the rating of the module, but all modules are manufactured using half-cut technology, M10 size cells. So these are the few USP of this product. You get a better LCOE, you get a better generation, better ROI on your system. It gives you better production during the, partial shading with the half-cut technology. And this is available in monofacial and bifacial models. This particular product is having all IC certifications, BIS certifications, and even we are going with the UL certification as well. So we are now going for the US market exports with this product. Now Jakson Group is one of the few companies, who are actually into the entire value solution for a solar system, right from design and engineering into manufacturing of modules, doing EPC for the rooftop projects, doing EPC for the ground-based projects, and also doing O&M. So we have got dedicated divisions, dedicated verticals functioning on each of these departments. So we have a O&M portfolio of 1.5 gigawatt. We have a EPC portfolio of 1.5 gigawatt. We have manufacturing of 600 megawatt of modules. We are a rooftop portfolio of almost 200 megawatt. And IPP, we are also IPP. We have our own power plants where we are selling power to various governments. The latest one we commissioned at Assam is 70 megawatt this year and 50 megawatt in UP. We have commissioned this year only. So we have a portfolio of 200 megawatt. So we are in the entire value chain as far as the solar solution is concerned. And now we talk about hydrogen. So 2022, we have come out with a new energy division where we are working on the hydrogen, the future technology. So that is something we are very seriously working on it, and we are looking forward as a EPC partners. We are looking for some of the, some unique projects in India where we will be setting up the hydrogen plants as well as also for the green hydrogen. So this is, and storage is also something we are very closely working on. We have introduced our new Enerpack product last year, which is having a storage with a lithium battery. Right from 5 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt are the standard systems for C&I sector and residential customers. So I think this is the solution we have from us. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.